All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Resolume 7.10 live stream. I hope you're all doing fine, and I hope I'm audible. Please give me a little notification in the chat that you can hear me loud and clear. That would be nice. And then we can get this party started. So the idea of this stream is that we're going to take a look at Resolume 7.10 and all the new features, but we didn't have a live stream for 7.9, so I'll also go over the 7.9 new 7.9 features and walk you through there. If you have any questions, make sure to throw them in the comments. The devs are in the comment section and they can answer your questions. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So here I am in Resolume 7.10, and a nice update for 7.10 is an overhaul of the blend modes. So the blend modes is when you blend image number 1 into number 2. Let's throw something on the background to make this more clear. Just a gradient. It ain't pretty, but it makes the point, gets the point across. So now it's currently at the add blend mode. And here you can change the blend mode. Now this used to be like a really long list, and we revamped it to have it more into a compact menu that you can also close. For example, if you're not using any wire mixers, you can just close it up, as well as the option to put in favorites. So for example, let's noisy is one of my favorites, and it's a blend mode that I use often, so I can favorite. You can favor a blend mode simply by giving it a heart. Now the push down is one of my blend modes, and I can select it like this. And if I don't want to favor it anymore, I select the heart again. Then we have the wire mixers. So I have some mixers right up here. For example, this is a mixer that I made. This is a custom mixer. But you can also create a mixer straight from Arena. If you want to make a new mixer, I say my new mix, and Resolume will open up Wire with the mixer template selected, so you can get straight into patching a mixer, and you'll already have the necessary building blocks to create that mixer. So that is quite handy. That is it for Arena in 7.10. But like I said, I also want to go over some 7.9 features that we implemented, as we didn't have a 7.9 release stream. So a nice thing we did for 7.9 was that you have some new options to make your monitoring. So for example, let me show the crossfader. So I can crossfade between A and B like this. But I can now also say, okay, my monitor, I want to have bus A. So this will, no matter what I do, it will always show bus A. Of course, to really demonstrate it, you need some more monitors. So let's duplicate. Oh, the edge of my OBS is just blocking my view here. Yes, that's and let's duplicate it another time, put it in between, and let's say, okay, I want this bus A, here I want bus B, and in the middle I want the result. And now, no matter what I have selected, I always have this up for grabs. So that's a little bit more customization for the menus. Another thing you can do is select the advanced output. So let's say I have an advanced output, a couple of layers, sliders, whatever. For now, this doesn't really matter. I have a couple of slices going on, a virtual output. And let's say that I want to monitor this on screen number 1, I want my advanced output. And in the middle one, I want my whole composition and maybe a preview. So this could be another setup where you preview there, you play this, and in the left screen you can see my advanced screen setup already as it would be projected. So that was a 7.9 feature. Am I forgetting something from 7.9? No, we have the crossfader, we have the advanced output. I think that is it. And for all the people streaming in right now, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you want me to demo anything, I'll demo it. If you have really complicated questions, the dev team is in the in the chat as well, and they can help you out. But without further ado, let's continue. And to continue, I'm gonna go into Wire, as we have a couple of updates for Wire as well. Is this, yeah, the correct Wire. The first one is that we have now dummy slices. So if I create a slice in node, I'll have a bunch of presets that I can use to test my patch. These are not the slices that you will actually see and use in Arena, but they are there to try things out. So you have an actual visual representation of what a 2x2 grid would do, right? You can use a 2x2 grid and then have the patch work with 50 slices. It doesn't really matter. So let's say I have my slice in node. It outputs a slice. Now, for example, let's say we want to create an effect that outlines slices. So that's a quite simple one to make. So we would go slice to shape. Now we end up with 4 shapes. We started with 4 slices. Now we have 4 shapes, and we create an edge over it. And we want to do that on the outside, or maybe both, just both. And then we have a thickness here. So let's add a thickness slider. That would be way too much. So I'm gonna divide that by 100. So we have a finer increment, maybe 75, maybe 50. So now we have a nice range for creating edges. And next step is we render it to shape. So here we go from shapes onto textures, something that we can actually output. Shapes are just like mathematical way to represent an image, and texture is, well, actually something you can send to your screen. Let's go crazy. Control over the color. We'll give the user control over the color, default it to white, and we'll send a texture out. This is going to be my little outline patch. We go from slice to shape. We create an edge, render it to a texture, and we output it. So in the patch menu, I'll give it a name. Say stream outline, and this is going to be an effect. Or we can do, I think a source might be better, or an effect. Let's try source. Save it. And now we, under our sources, we should have the stream outline. Let's give that a try. So I select it and it does nothing. That's because, let's open up this a bit. We actually haven't added any slices. We have to drop in the slices there. You do that from the slices menu. Right now that's hidden in my layout. So I'll go show slices, and I got a new panel over here. I'll drag and drop it, and I have 4 slices. As you can see in my advanced output, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 slices. Now let's see if this makes an outline, or that I did something wrong. No, and you can see this effect generates us for the composition monitor. You can ignore this one for now, it's not relevant anymore. Close. We can see that we have the outline of our advanced output. So that's a way we can use the outline of the dummy slices. So just to demonstrate, right now I used a 2x2 grid, and we ended up with, by coincidence, also an advanced output that had 4 slices. But well, just to demonstrate, I'll use a 4x4 grid. So we end up with a whole bunch of edges. I'll save this as well, and this doesn't actually have an effect on the output, right? So because these slices are rendered. So if I would have more slices, I could throw in more. It doesn't really matter. Hello, Mohammed Mola. Nice for you to join us. You are at the right place. This is Resolume 7.10 live stream. Hi, Darren. Good to see you back. So that was the test slices that we have. Also, if you want to try anything with masks, there is a stage droid with masks. So if I go slice info, for example, and take these slices, and we'll see, yeah, these has masks. Yes, all 5 of them. If I take the regular stage droid, it doesn't have masks. So if you need to create a patch that requires a mask, you can do it this way. That was it for the slices. Let's move on to the next subject, which is still in Wire. We have some updates to working with strings. Now this is a little bit technical and maybe not very relevant to everybody, but stick with me. First off, we have a string merge. What this does is if I have multiple strings, so let's say I have a string that says, hey, another string, YouTube peoples. These are 2 separate strings. Did I just, yeah. I'll join them together into a single string. So what we now have, this is still 2 separate strings. They're instanced. So now we go from string to an instanced string. But what if we want to merge these 2 together? You can do that with the merge node. So I take 2 strings, and let's render this out to a text. And I can say, well, I need a separator, probably a space in this case. Hey, YouTube's people is now my merged string. This is a bit of a silly example, but I think it's a very clear example. Where it's more relevant is when we go to our next subject, which is going from strings to floats and from floats to string. Let's first go from float to string. Let's say I have a sequence. This outputs a collection of integers 0 to 9. So we have 10 values in total. Now, we want to turn this into a string. So first we create a string node, and Wire will convert this into strings. But now here we have 10 integers, here we have 10 strings, but we want to have it into one big line. So what happens if you render this out? Well, you get this mess and you end up with 10 textures, which is not very useful at all. You could transform these and move them around, but that's it's a really waste of computing power. So we take the string and we merge it. And now we end up with 10 strings with a single string, which we can render to text. And now we have our value. So we could say maybe a comma space, that would work, or even just an enter, right? Yeah, so you could put them above each other. So very simple feature. We went from from floats, or integers in this case, to strings. But what is also possible now is going from strings to floats. So let's say I have my string here, and I want to go from a string. Let's put this back and just say string, and my string is hey, and I want to convert this to a float. So the float node transforms a little bit when you do this. We'll have an output which is 0 and a succeed that says false, because we're trying to convert a word into a number, which is not possible. So we return to our default value. So let's say our default value is 0.7. Now it outputs 0.7 because the conversion did not succeed. But if my string would be 12, we would succeed and we output a 12. If I say 12 hey, that also works because it starts with a value. If I start hey 12, it's going to read the start of the string. It says, well, that's a character. I can't convert that, false, so it goes back to the default value. Very small little update, but could be useful to some people. That sort of also completes our whole conversion from float to strings, strings to integers, integers to floats, into booleans, whatever. You can we're pretty sure you can convert everything into everything, almost, where it is necessary. Then the last string bit is the substring node. This is a really small one. Let's say you have a string that says, hey there, live stream people. It's a long string, and we render that to text. We say, well, we start at, we first need to give it a length, because what the substring node does, it takes a smaller part of a larger string. So let's say we only want the first 6 characters, and then we could scroll the start and move through it. But as soon as we hit 27 here, we're out of characters. We run out of string. So what we've done is added the wrapping option, which wraps the string around when it is finished. So let's add space in the end, so it actually moves nicely. And we could just do a counter, for example, and a metronome. And that is going to be the starting position. And well, let's put up the frequency a little bit. And now we can infinitely scroll through our string. We can make it larger. So it can be useful to create some rolling string, rolling text animation. Enough of the strings. Let's move on to the, well, this is also a small one, and it was also a 7.9 one, but I'll still show it. We made a little update to the choice in node. So for those who don't know, if you create a choice in node, that's a way for you to create a menu in Arena. I'll demo that as well. So let's say you have the choice in, and we are going to ask you drink. So what drink do you want? Let me know in the comments as well what drink you want, what drink you're having right now. Beer, wine, or maybe you're more a soda kind of guy or girl. Beer, wine, soda. We need more. Let's do. You're very, very healthy. You're only drinking water. So now we have 4 options. As soon as the buttons, you could see when I had soda, only soda, it had buttons. But as soon as it doesn't fit in the node anymore, it updates to a drop-down menu. This is how it used to work in Arena as well. You would have buttons up to, I think, 7 options, if I remember correctly, and then it would switch to a drop-down menu. So, there needs to be Jaeger bombs in there. I just read in the comments, stupid keyboard. We need Jaeger bombs. Jaeger bombs in there as well. Awesome. So up to like, I believe it was 7 or 8 options. Arena would show you buttons, and after beyond that, it would go into a drop-down menu. But well, we would like you to decide how you want to show that. So when you select the choice in node, you can go into the node panel and you can just select which kind of widget you want. So let's demo that. I'll create need a new patch. So we're back, new patch, and that is choice in demo. I'll just create a circle and go into a texture out, so we can have this as a source, and we'll save it. This is this will be in our menu, and currently we're at buttons. So I'll save this, choice in demo, open up Arena, sources. Let me fix my layout, basic layout, and go to sources, and we have choice in demo, which is just a circle. And here we go to, here we have the choice in menu. So it was selected as a button. So we can wine, soda, or Jaeger bomb, whatever we like. We go back into the menu, select the drop down, save, back to Arena, and now it's a drop down menu. So that's a choice in update. Can't have a Finnish guy in the chat on a Friday without him shouting the names of alcoholic beverages. Yes, that is very true. Where in Finland are you located? I was in Tampere not too long ago. It was a really nice city in Finland. And I see some people from Indonesia as well. Welcome. So that was it for the choice in node, little update. And then I go on to my final bit, which is how we updated the search engine. This is a 7.9 feature, but since we didn't do a 7.9 live chat, live stream, we'll demo it now. So we overhauled the whole search system. So if you double click somewhere on the canvas, you now get this really nice looking menu where you can find all the nodes that you need. Really awesome. Another way it updated is, let's say we have a circle node and I want to create a new node from there. I select the shape 2D, select somewhere where I want to place a new node. And as you can see, the new menu is really small. I'm limited in my options. This is because Wire will smartly select the nodes, only the nodes that you can actually connect. It doesn't make sense to put a circle into an OSC or MIDI output. The conversion is impossible. So Wire already kicks that out. So here we get nodes that work with shapes, for example. We can create an edge out of this. It also allows me to create nodes that will not accept shape 2D, but will be able to convert shape 2D into something that does accept it. For example, all video effects. Let's say we want to have a UV map that requires a texture. Oh, it actually allows a shape 2D as well. I didn't know that. Even learning here on the live stream. So does it use, no, forget what I said. Oh yeah, video effects, of course. Let's say I want to do a dot screen effect. Oh, that's not a very good demo, huh? it doesn't show anything. Try 3. Video effect, something extreme. Colorize, yes, something that is very clear. So this effect wants a texture 2D RGBA, but it will also, then you see the line, it will also accept texture 2D channel or shape 2D, but it will convert it to a texture 2D RGBA channel. If we look what's going out, it does convert it. So you do get options for conversions when you run this way. All right. This also works by double clicking on the circle, so on the outlet. So that's another way to create a node, and also double clicking on the inlet. For example, like this. That's a nice one. What else? There was quite a bit on the search engine. You can click, you can drag. It's sort of hard to demonstrate. I hope you hear my clicks. Then we have, oh yeah, this one is also cool. This is really an advanced patching technique, I guess. So let's say I want to create a node and I want to continue patching. So I select where I want to start. So I want to go from a circle to an edge. And instead of pressing the Enter key, I press Control, Enter. The node gets created, connected, and I get a new search bar. So here I could say shape render. Control, Enter. Quad, Control, Enter. Texture out. Control or just Enter in this case. Right? So without any clicks, I managed to go from a circle to an edge to a shape, give it a nice color, mirror quad it, and send it out. So this is a really fast way to patching. It is something you have to get a little bit into, but it does work. Stein just mentioned a good new feature. It's always good to have your colleagues in the stream. You can double click on a chord to insert a node in between two nodes. So if I click here, we go from a mirror quad into our texture. I want to double click here. Again, wire will only show me nodes that actually fit in this spot. For example, blur. And it's automatically connected. You can do it by double clicking on the wire, on the chord, but you can also right click it and say insert node. And we go the same way. I place something in. And here we go. So that's the update to the search system. That was all of my notes and all of the things that I had to go through for this live stream. So if you have questions or you want me to demo anything within my power, I will try to show it. It can be a new feature, it can be a general Resolume or Resolume Arena or Resolume Wire question. I'm here, the dev team is here, Tim is here. Hey Tim, nice of you to join us. Where are you from? I see we have Cape Town, South Africa in the house. That's nice to see. I'm really curious where this Tim guy is from. He sounds Dutch. And double clicking an inlet or outer. Yeah, I had that one. So if you have a circle and you double click, you get the menu and it automatically connects it for you. Same over here. We get that. Hey Joshi. So that's a cool one. So I'm curious if you guys have any questions for me. Maybe what else can we show? Drop in your questions. Let's see if I was working on anything cool that I can show you guys. No. All the stuff I have in here is like super extreme secret Resolume 7.11 stuff. Darren, good question. What's your favorite way to create an audio reactive clip in Avenue? My personal preference for that is, let's close a wire for a second and start a new composition. So my personal preference, if I'm VJing, is to use a MIDI clock. That's my preferred way. So let's do something really simple here. I'll create, let's say we have a linescape going on. I always have to slow this down, always makes me nauseous. And I don't want to show the knots and I don't want the lines. And let's say I want to bounce, the jaggedness, like I want to create this on the beat. Then my way to go would generally be, if we're talking just 4 to the floor electronic music that I can tap along with, it's a BPM sync combined with, so now it syncs to BPM. My BPM is 120 over here. But of course this is over 4 beats, but we want to do probably something on every beat. In this case, I would add an envelope. And you can draw your own envelope here, but there is a preset called 4 to the floor. And now we have like boom, 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 boom. This really works very well for any kind of like techno, house, whatever kind of show. You know, you throw a quad on there. You throw an RGB delay on it with a very small ratio, and you're off to the races. Like this would already work for a small show or something like that. So this is my preferred way if I know the BPM of the music, right? So if you don't know that, you can always tap along with the music. So let's say we have a beat going on and I tap along. So apparently I was tapping at 122 BPM, and this way you can quite easily sync. And if you're out of, the box over here is counting to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need to resync that with the beat because you're off beat, go 1, 2, 3, 4, resync, and it's back on the 1 again. So that is my preferred way to create audio reactive visuals. Your alternative, if you don't want to use MIDI, you could say I want to go basic. I'll remove my envelope. Is using an external FFT. This is something I generally do when I work with live bands, like a jazz band or a rock band or whatever, and I'll ask the sound guy, front of house guy, if I can get the kick. So only the kick drum of the drummer. We want to get into an audio interface or something. You can set up your audio interface over here. Right now I don't have an audio interface connected, but this would give you the kick. Then you simply say, okay, I want to have this on the kick. Maybe I can use my microphone here of my computer right now. Let's see. No, it won't allow me to. No, then the whole stream the whole stream goes sideways if I do that. So, and then the audio comes in. You can say, okay, of the kick. Well, if you get a kick, you probably don't have to EQ it into Arena anymore. But if they're not capable of doing that, then you can always say, okay, I'll get my audio signal in and I'll filter out all the high frequencies. When I started VJing like 10 years ago, I would sometimes just use the microphone on my laptop as my sound source and then pick up the band and just be like really short over here. This is of course the most low-tech way of solving this problem, but it is a solution. So there is a sort of a range. For electronic music, I'd say MIDI. For acoustic music, I prefer FFT, unless you can drum along with your band. So I hope that answers your question, Darren. If you have anything to add to it, just let me know. And I'll go back into the comment section. Can wire link to timecode? How to apply envelopes to OSC signals? And do I prefer NDI or HDMI for output? No, the NDI question is really simple. I'm generally not at events where I have to use NDI, so I generally just have like 1 or 2 projectors, which I just run off my laptop. So that's always HDMI for me. Regarding the wire and timecode question, Bart already replied to that. Yes, you can set the transport of a wire patch in Arena. So if in Arena you can set the SMPTE, so you can set your timecode over there, but the transport is already running. So if I am in wire, just to quickly demo that, you don't actually have to do anything special, I believe, but the devs can correct me on that if I'm wrong. If you create any kind of node that uses transport, let's say transport beat, you already get the BPM over here. Right now this is just outputting a trigger on each bar, beat, whatever, and you get the transport toolbar in here. Right now it's 120, 4, whatever. Once you open this patch in Arena, this stuff gets replaced by whatever is your timecode or your BPM right then. So this is local in wire. Once you run this patch in Arena, Arena takes over. So if I would create a patch here and it runs at 60 BPM, this patch won't run at 60 BPM in Arena. It will run at the transport time of Arena. So you don't have to do anything special to sync up timecode and wire like this. But if you want to only want to work in wire, I think you're out of luck. Yeah, there's no way to get like timecode into wire, if I am correct. And a question from Richard, wire and Resolume question, how to apply envelopes to OSC signals. Well, the easiest way to do this in wire would be to get your OSC into wire, right? It will output some kind of wire. Output some kind of wire. It will output some kind of value, and then in Arena you can do with that value whatever you want. Need to multiply it, but what you mean with envelope would probably be applying a curve to it. So I'm not actually gonna run up an OSC signal here, but let's say we have an OSC value that runs, this is my substitute OSC value right now from 0 to 1. And let's do that. Let's visualize it, because also this is gonna get a really boring boring talk. So we have circle 1 and circle 2. And I'm gonna move both circles. One is gonna go a bit up and shape render both of them. This is just for visualization purposes, really quick. And video mix them together so that we have a move over here and a move over there. So we end up with something that looks like this. So, and we'll back this Does it take float 2 actually? Don't know for sure. Oh, outputs float 3. Yeah. So let's say we pack this into the top. Now we can like this. So now we have our circle or our ball up and down. This is without an envelope, so to speak, right? And now we do it over here with a curve. That should be similar. Oops. Why can't I see my circle? Ah, of course, it's at the same. So now the bottom is the curved one. So right now they're moving the same because the curve is linear. But as soon as I open up this one, and here you have all the standard envelopes you get in Arena as well. So let's say I want to sign in. So now you can see there is a movement difference. It's also curving to 0.4 now, but just ignore that. Or the bounce in. And it's still a value between 0 and 1. And you can then OSC this out again. So you would make an OSC, right OSC, and here you create your OSC values and you write it out again. So this would be a mix, a way to create sort of an envelope for OSC channels. So I hope this helps you out, Richard, or at least gets you started on doing something in the direction that you want to do. And question from Arvel, instance offset. Can you explain what you mean by that? What is offset in this context? And I'll try to work it out. I'm happy to hear you're helping. Thanks for sharing. Is there a way to make transitions between layers longer than 10 seconds? That is a good question. I think that's a cool one because I think it's not possible in just Arena, but we could hack it in Wire. Let's see. So what you are asking is, let's say you have a clip over here. We have 2 clips, and that we have our show transition control. And if we now click on a second clip, we slowly fade over to the second one. So this takes about a second, and probably the limit is, I assume the limit is 10 seconds. And your question was if there's a way to make a transition longer than 10 seconds. Let me think really hard right now. Layer, transition, alpha duration. So let's put this at 0 and the duration at 2. Oh, that's the wrong layer. Remove. So we go to layer, and that should be this value. I'm curious if I want to crank it further up. Does it allow me? No, it's a limit at 10. Huh. Interesting. Is there a way to hack it? to make it longer than that? The way you could do it, but it is a very labor intensive way to do it. I can think of one way to hack the system, but it's not going to be effective for your entire composition. Is what you could do is when you trigger a clip, of course the clip has an opacity somewhere. Let's see, over there. So the clip has an opacity. This one you could stretch over time. No, but the transition is going to be instant anyway, so that doesn't work either. No. Ah, good one. This is a head scratcher. How to fix this? So we're at a blend mode. I think I have to disappoint you. I don't think you can make the transition longer. Yeah, of course, what would be a possibility, which our user Argerfest already noticed here, is that you can do it manually, of course. So just to demo how you would do that. So let's say we have two clips, and my preferred way for this would do it with a crossfader probably. And preferably, I think even a hardware crossfader, like attach a MIDI button to this. One goes A, one goes B. Select both clips, and you can slowly, like you hear now, you decide how long this can take as long as you want. You can use the mouse wheel for this. So this would be a way to make the transitions as long or slow as you want. If you connect this to some kind of MIDI controller, you could do it really slow. If you use 2 layers and your envelope method, yeah, that would also work. No. So yeah, a couple of ways to do it, but they're all quite hacky. The nicest thing would of course be that this runs from 0 to 10, and that when you go into the transition layer, then you can just say like 3 minutes. Yeah, that's the problem with the layer thing. It's going to be an alpha blend and nothing else. So yeah, I think I would prefer the crossfader method, because you can go really slow. It's with a mouse, it's a bit difficult, but if you have a hardware MIDI controller, you can really tune it in. Question by Daniel: difference in working in wire to achieve a result and doing the same thing in Arena, to be specific. Difference meaning in terms of GPU processing. Question by Bill B: it'd be nice to open existing effects in Wire as templates. This is sort of possible, but not with all effects. So if you have, for example, let's say the source, there are some sources, for example, the abstract field one that is built in, which is a source that is made with wire. So if you want to go off of this, there's this button. You can see, for example, the blank and the checker, they don't have it, but the abstract field one does have it. And if you select this button, you will get a question whether you want to install or open this patch. Well, I want to open it, and I can get access into how this patch works. It requires time, and it's actually documented as well. So you can read through how this patch is made, what the idea is behind it, and how it is made. So that is one way to get the effects from Arena into Wire and as a template. But most of them are hard coded. They're shaders, so they can. It's code, so they're not made with Wire. But most of the new stuff and I'm personally working on a lot of sources, blend modes, and effects for Resolume 7.11. They will all be fully documented and they can be edited as you please. Another cool one, this is sort of going to be the new style for the stuff that I make. If you go to welcome view, welcome tutorials, I believe, no, examples, there is one effect over here, which is the distortion example. And this is about as templatey as you can get, because you throw in a texture over here, which is in this case the just a test one, and you output a distorted image. You have your dashboard here with all kinds of different modes. And you can create your own distortion, and this is fully documented, why each node is there, how it is done, and how it is made. So this is sort of an example, like this teaches you how to create a distortion. And this is sort of the way we're going forward with these examples. And of course you can grab any of the effects here and make your own version of it, both in the example area. They go from very complex to really simple, and just create a screen shake effect, for example. And the tutorials, they're a little bit more in-depth on how Wire works as software, and examples are more like how to make a certain effect. But unfortunately, you can't just say, okay, I want the gradient and I want to open it as a wire patch, because it isn't. I hope that answers your question, Bill B. Any more questions? Question about Linux. Well, Arvel was already there for you. We don't support Linux right now. We are experimenting with Linux builds, but it's I can't make any promises on that. That's just experimental stuff we do in our office, but maybe in the future. Any more questions? Holler at me. Come at me, bro. Else I'm gonna do a question. Maybe Bart will allow me to the last 5 minutes maybe preview some 7.11 already. But he has to agree with that. If I can preview 7.11 to you guys. You have to be in the chat like, Bart, pretty please. Can we 7.11? And then I'll show some new stuff that we're working on. But I need to get his thumbs up, else he's gonna fire me. Yes. All right. We have a go from Bart. All right. Yes. Okay. So last few minutes of this. First, I see a question from Richard coming in. How do you compile a plugin and sell it on Juicebar? That's a good question, and it's a very relevant question as well. I'm working on a tutorial on this, so it will be up in probably next week. That shows all the compiling, saving, consolidation, etc., etc. But yeah, to go through it really quickly. So let's say you have texture. This is going to be the worst patch ever. Texture in, texture out. This literally does nothing. You go to node patch. You want to compile it. And you wanna, when you compile it, you wanna say compile for Juicebar. That makes the patch usable for their testing environment, and they will just check out your patch, see if you're a cool guy, and they'll sell it. And you can visit getjuicebar.com/wire. Let's open that quickly here. And this explains you how to publish and how it works. So you can read that up and you can get to selling. We're already seeing the first patches wire patches being sold on Juicebar. So that's great to see. Back onto the chat quickly. That was a compile question. I don't know enough about the software to ask questions. Check out our website. And if you go to our website to really learn, like really good, if you want to get really the basics down, go to the training section on our website. Here we have the basics of Resolume. It goes quite in depth. You can, if you're at level 5, you're already like good. And this is more really specific stuff you need to learn if you need it. And if you scroll down further, you can get into the basics of wire, basics of instancing, etc., etc. And then there's our YouTube channel, as well as some great other guys who are also making tutorials, like Steve and Controlled Chaos. He is also making some really cool stuff right now. So check those guys out. Juicebar. Yeah, so we're going to show 7.11. Question by Microlabs, 3D model import for 7.12. That's probably not going to happen, but we are working on 3D. Is there a possibility for a future release to change the GUI color? You shouldn't ask that question. Bart will kick you out of the stream. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, on to the most cool part, 7.11, right? This is going to be an... I need to... Yes, this build. This is completely off script, and this could crash at any moment. Oh shit, hide the library. They are not allowed to know we're working on audio as well. This is already going sideways. So a cool little thing we're working on with 7.11 is will be that we have the stack node, which wasn't a very exciting node before. What it does is you enter values, and once the stack is full, let's see, did I say it correctly? No, that also doesn't. It outputs the entire stack, so it creates a list. Well, that wasn't very exciting when it's just values and numbers. That is very exciting if you support textures, because this allows you to create custom delays, which is really cool. So yeah, screw it. We're gonna make a cool delay. So I quickly need to grab a video file. Let me grab this. Is this cool? Well, so we have this little Ant-Man going from left to right, and this is just one. This is just a texture. So now we can put this into our stack node, which ends us up with 10 textures. We have the stack is full, of course, because we're running here at 60 frames. So within a few seconds, this is going to be full. We're going to increase it a little bit, 30. We have about a second of footage. Now I'm going to read parts of this. So let's say, just to illustrate this. And we have a video mixer, and I'm going to do another read, and I'm going to mix these two together, and we have now 1 frame delay, like 10 frames delay on top of our original signal. So let's put that at the bottom. let's make a little bit more. Let's say we want 4 inputs. We'll read number 20. Let's read number 9, 19, and 29. And we're all gonna read this stuff out. And now we have a couple of frames of delay on top of each other. Now, just to show you where this is going after a while, this is something I was working on earlier today. I need to, well, this actually already runs in Arena probably, so we can open up Arena. Arena 7.11. We haven't had any crashes so far because this is just a development build, so that is nice to see. And this should have the stack delay over there. That's how it's called, right? Yeah, stack delay. Let's throw in a clip. I don't know what this is. Clip. All right, we have the shaky hands. I'll get back to your question in a second, Arvel. And I will throw the stack delay onto my composition and increase the amount. And here we have really cool little delay patch, which has a drunk mode because I made it. The question by Arthur was, there's only 10 instances. In this patch, there isn't. I'm stacking up 30 instances here. So it literally just holds 30 frames of footage, of video. And it works on a first in, first out basis. So once frame 10 is full, and there will be a frame 11, then so their 11th frame comes in, the 10th frame will be kicked out, and the new frame would be frame 0. So that is pretty nice. So that gives this little cool cool effect. I did some other stuff with it as well, so this is all still very experimental. Let's throw, I made this Earthquaker patch. So this also works with frame delays. I think it does at least. So really nice. Wire crashed off screen. Not on screen, but off screen. What are we doing over here? Are we also stacking? Yeah, so here I'm also stacking. Then I'm mixing up, completely messing up the RGB channels and sending it back out. So here we also have the option to frequency. Let's throw in another couple of clips. Let's throw in one of these clips just to show you what is possible with this kind of stack, the stacking. You can make some really cool effects with this. Right now it's killing my frames, but yeah, that's just that it's still an experimental build. Anything else here that I was working on that was cool? No, that's it. That's it for the delays. So yeah, that was just a very quick sneak preview for 7.11. That's coming up. When? Well, we try to do a release every month, about each month. So that's what we're trying. Question by VJ Odds. It's great to see you in the chat again, by the way, and Lisa as well. Nice. That's great. You like the Microlabs once more glitch. I have a bad TV effect somewhere. Let me quickly grab that. ESF Alt TV effects. This is we're patching on the fly right now. This doesn't have a texture out. Let's fix this patch. Let's go. Alt TV patch. So yeah, I hope you like this one. This is still work in process. I was trying to learn a little bit the ISF, the programming shader language. So this runs on a shader that generates this sort of distorted image. But I'll throw a tutorial on this in the future as well. So more glitching, more broken TVs. I made this lo-fi delay. Does that work? Ooh. This is getting sketchy. That's not doing very well. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here. We should do maybe we should do a giant glitch. How you say, a glitch stream sometimes. Just like destroy as much shit as possible. VJ Ut's question: groups may be minimized in the future in Arena. This is something that is being requested quite a bit, and we are looking into it. So that's something that's can't promise that it happens, but it's something that we are looking into. If you guys don't have any questions anymore, I will wrap the stream up, and then I see you in the near future. If you do have any questions, throw them out now, or else I'm gonna have a weekend. Yeah, I understand software bugs are not funny. I also told you that this is a development build, so it's not stable. It's not meant to be stable. It's not how it works. All right. If there's no more questions, I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you guys all for showing up, and I hope to see you at the next stream. Ciao.